All right, we ready? And grab your bag and go. That's it, move, move. Go, 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 go. One, Armani suits and run.
Manager to cash register. Manager to cash register.
All right. Week 11, Armani. Um, I'm gonna apologize in advance. A little bit of a shit show here with the kids up and everything. Albert watching Dr. Panda. Cleo's all over the house. So if you hear them, don't mind it. All right, quick recap where we are after week 10. We're 25 and 25 overall. Playing 500 ball, even par. And then even funnier after last week, we are all 5 and 5 on our best bets. So just to recap, we had Mutt with the international game, came through. Falcons plus 6.5. Colts obviously won that game, but great cover in OT. Actually, in a way, like, I don't know, we benefited from the new rules, but we benefited from the fact that both teams had the ball and then it was a next score to win. If the Colts had scored in their first possession, they would have had to kick the extra point because Falcons would have gotten the ball. As a result, because both teams had it, it was, essentially sudden death. So that allowed us to cover. But I didn't, I felt a little bit like Donovan McNabb. I didn't know the new rules for overtime. So I was like sitting there trying to figure it out, but like it does change some of the math in terms of covering with both teams getting it now, which makes it really interesting. So, but great call by Mutt. Got us off to a great start. Um, we had the bounce back with Man Campbell. That was inevitable. So that was our second win. Browns lost to the Jets. Pathetic. Just terrible. Never should have happened. And then Bills with an absolute stinker, losing not only against the spread, but outright to the Dolphins. And then it wasn't even close. So that was rough. And then the Armani crew got together for the Sunday night game, never in it. So that was a tough way to close it out. But look, I think we've had now. I think we had a 1-4 week, and then I think we've had 3 consecutive weeks of 2-3. But we still sit here 25 and 25 overall. So we have endured our roughest stretch of the season, and we are still at 500. So I am going to focus on the positive of that, and it's time for us to get hot again.
Still, we're still in that, 5-0 week, and 30 and 25 is, I mean, that's real good. That's a really good solid record to kind of make up for all our wrongs the past month. So
it's like sitting at a blackjack table. Like we just endured an awful shoe, and yet we're still sitting here with our original pot, and the dealer's shuffling the deck. We're gonna get a fresh shoe. We're ready to go. So I still feel good about where we are. We're in as good a spot as we've ever been. And again, like it's time to catch a hot shoe. Let's do it. So, all right, just to lay out the agenda for this week, we do have another international game. We got the Commanders and the Dolphins. They're playing in Madrid, Spain. We'll have a special guest for that. Benny will tee that up in a second. Hey, Cleo.
Hi, baby.
What's that? Oh, don't you what, you trying to get naked? We'll do our best bets, and then Kieran, are we doing a wheel for the primetime games?
Yeah.
So we got Lions and Eagles, and then we got Cowboys and Raiders. So we'll do a wheel to figure out which game we're picking. All right, let's get to the international game. Kieran, you want to tee it up?
Yeah.
Benny Fazio, my boy. Pretty fitting that you text me while this was going on. I was listening to Kenny Chesney, beer in Mexico. I think this game is in Madrid. Maybe a winner in Madrid, a beer in Mexico. I like the Dolphins. Hate everything about the Commanders. Think they've been fighting. It's probably the worst spot in the world to take the Dolphins high off that win against the Bills, but they've been fighting and fighting and fighting. Fins. Does he sing that? No, that's Jimmy Buffett. The signs. certain person we work for, we're friends with. He likes Kenny Chesney. He also likes Jimmy Buffett. Fins, lay it.
All right, there it is. We got the Dolphins -2.5.
Second. I like the pick. I was at the River Junction last night with Kevin. We were talking about this game. You know, we talk a lot about dead teams. The Dolphins are no longer dead. The Commanders are that's a dead team.
Dead.
That is a dead team. And now they got to go overseas all the way to Madrid. That's a dead team. That's not the side I'd want to be on. I like this pick. So thank you, Bosco.
Thank you, Bosco.
Yeah, I mean, I do think the Dolphins, maybe they're like Walking Dead. They've already been declared dead. I don't think that they're necessarily going to come back and suddenly become Super Bowl contenders, but they do have like there's different levels of bad. Like there's the flat out bad teams, and then you get ones like this Dolphins team, or even, we've talked about like the Browns, where the Browns, they aren't a good team, but they have pieces. They have some superstars. So sometimes that, like, the defensive side of the ball for Cleveland can show up and win them a game. Sometimes this Dolphins team, they can just click on offense and make it work. I mean, A-Chain's obviously fantastic. Jalen Waddle is really good, and he's starting to emerge as maybe more of a true wide receiver one this year with Tyreek Hill out. So with those pieces, when the offensive plan clicks, they can show up and they can kick a team's ass. Gruden, I saw a clip. I think he was on the Pro Football Show. He was saying, don't be surprised if, you blink and you open your eyes up a month from now and all of a sudden the Dolphins are suddenly in the hunt. I don't know what their schedule's like. I don't know if that was part of his argument or not, but yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely a team that with the right schedule, they can, catch fire and string a few wins together, or at least over, a month and a half. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, kind of like Rico said, it's maybe not the sexiest spot to take this Dolphins team in, but it's one of those where they could go one of two ways. That could have just been a fluke, or they could be starting to build on top of something, and maybe string a second win together. So we'll see.
Yeah, as much as like it might not be the best time to take the Dolphins after riding high. It's definitely not the right time to take the Commanders. With a 3-point spread. I just they are the least inspiring bunch of guys out there right now. It's pretty bleak over there. So yeah, like the pick.
I will
Glad
say
we're on the Dolphins.
Gruden might be onto something. Commanders, Saints, Jets.
Isn't he always?
You hit those three, you're 6-7. And then they got the Steelers, which is, I think that could be a winnable game, especially if they're on a 4-game win streak. That could put them at 7-7. Then they get the Bengals, which Burrow might be back by then, but again, winnable. And then the Bucks and the Pats to close it out. So a tough way to close things out, but yeah, they could find themselves in the hunt.
All right.
Shout out John Gruden. All right. That's the pick. Dolphins.
We ride. We ride.
We are riders.
There we go.
Right.
Wait, who'd that land on?
You.
You might want to
Me?
connect.
Oh, sorry. No, my wheel. My wheel was lagging a bunch. I am. I'm going with the Ravens. On the road in Cleveland. Last week obviously I had the Bills. Ravens were my other team that I was really high on. My main argument was that it was Lamar Jackson versus J.J. McCarthy. And I think when push comes to shove, they'll be able to get over that 3.5 number. Kind of the same logic this week. It is Lamar Jackson versus Dylan Gabriel. I think both defenses are playing really well right now. Um, the Browns obviously have stars on that defense. They can make plays. The Ravens are healthy again. They have their full squad back, and they've looked really good the past few weeks. And when it really boils down to it, Dylan Gabriel is probably not an NFL quarterback for very long, and Lamar Jackson is still coming back from that hammy, but it hasn't seemed to hinder him much. And he is he's an All-Pro type of guy. So when it comes down to it, I think that it's going to be a couple touchdown game. I really like the Ravens in this spot. Division game, 7.5 points seems feasible for them to clear that pretty easily. So Ravens 7.5.
Yeah, I was kind of when I was looking through the card, I was kind of leaning the Browns a little bit. I mean, I sent you guys my parlay for Sunday. I do like Cedric Tillman to score a touchdown. He is currently listed at plus 750. Or I shouldn't say currently. As of last night, he was plus 750. But yeah, I mean, I just thought it was a lot of points for what I think should be a pretty good defensive battle. But to what you said, Zach, just like last week, when push comes to shove. I do think that the Ravens can get it done. I do think it's going to be one of those where maybe it sits around like 7 to 10 points all game, and then it just comes down to are the Browns going to score in garbage time? Which with Gabriel at quarterback, that's never something you can guarantee. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't shock me to see the Ravens, sit right around that number all game, and then with like 5 minutes left, take the lead on the spread and put it away.
I had the Ravens at the top of my card. I like the
Oh
pick.
boy,
I know.
I don't know historically if there's ever
Yeah,
been a spot where Kieran kind of leans one way and then our two top picks is
yeah. You and I
the
just
record must be awful.
yeah.
The record
There-
must be-
There's a lot of synergy between our two dumb brains.
I kind of want to pour through the data and just see the percentage of our picks, how many have been favorites versus how many have been underdogs. Because I feel like the chart heavily skews in my favor in terms of picking underdogs, and you guys might be
Oh
on the other
yeah, I mean,
side.
I think you're hitting like a 100% clip on underdogs, but sorry,
Um,
Tristan.
no, I this with Lamar back, this to me has I think this has blowout potential. So I was just I was very much on the Ravens. I mean um I don't have to oversell. I'm not going to sell past the close. But I love this pick, so good for you. I have to reach back down into my card now.
Oh man.
I'm uh I'm on
I'm
Pittsburgh minus 5.5. Speaking about games with blowout potential, I think this is one of them. It was, I believe, 33-31 the first time that they played. It was a really good game. I think they called that the Unk Bowl. That was Joe Flacco versus Aaron Rodgers. We're getting that once again. But I think it's just going to be a little bit different. I think that Pittsburgh, they're maybe starting to figure something out as far as a defensive identity. I mean, coming into the season and years past, that's always been their identity first. They've always been a strong, hard-nosed defensive team. They've not been playing like that through the first 2 or so months, but it does feel like they're starting to turn a little bit of a corner. So I think that they can really get to Flacco here. I think that they can make his life miserable. And then also on top of that, this Bengals defense is just terrible. They make everybody look good. I saw something yesterday. It was like, how bad is this Bengals defense? And it was Justin Fields' stats for his last like 5 or 6 starts, and it's 100 passing yards, 100 passing yards. You could do a blind resume, and it would be pretty damn easy to figure out which game it was where he faced the Bengals because he had like 3 touchdowns, he had like 250 plus yards, something like that. It's a bad defense, so I think that Pittsburgh they're going to come back. They need to start kind of putting the foot to the pedal here. Because people are talking about the Ravens going on a run, them taking the division. Joe Flacco, Joe Burrow. There's rumors swirling about him potentially making a return soon. So they got to start to take these games a lot more seriously if they want to try and win this division because that's their best bet for any sort of good playoff seeding. They're not going to be the strongest wild card resume out there. So it's a good matchup for them. DK Metcalf can get right here. They can, really lean on their tight ends like they did. I mean, that's the same game that we hit that massive parlay with all the tight ends and everything. So it works out in terms of strength versus weakness here. I think that they can win this by a lot more than a touchdown. So I'm on the Steelers.
I this is probably another good thing. I had the Bengals on my card as a top three pick, so probably good that you know my brain is being faded. In a spot like this, I just think I think I'm going off of that first game a lot. Seeing them go back and forth. I think that was actually one of the more entertaining games of the year. The Young Bowl was it was electric. They were driving on the field on each other. Flacco was like not human, but I do think um there's been a lot of talk about Burrow returning like week 13 or 14 ish, depending. And there was like a bit of a little caveat where it was like if they're still in playoff contention. So I think it is a good spot for the Steelers to kind of shit in the Cheerios a little bit, trying to shit in the Bengals fans Cheerios, where like the Bengals they're probably not going to be in playoff contention around week 13, week 14 if they don't win this game. They really need to one for the division because the division is still attainable, but if they go, I think it'd be 3 games back of the Steelers. If they were to lose this week, that would become a lot more difficult of a stretch there to really sell yourself on. Win pretty basically winning out and winning the division. So um, I, uh, the Steelers are the points just kind of threw me off. 5.5 feels like a lot for a game that I think is going to be kind of close to what it was the first time they played. But yeah, let's ride out.
Last Justin Fields' last 5 games, starting with Denver on October 12th. He had 45 yards, 0 touchdowns. Against Carolina, 46 yards, 0 touchdowns. Against Cincy, 244 yards and a touchdown. Next week against Cleveland, 54 yards and a touchdown. And then against New England, 116 yards and a touchdown. And just mind you, these are his passing yards, where he has been failing 3 out of those 5 times to exceed 54 yards. He still went off for 244 against the Bengals.
Disgusting.
Yeah. Will.
All right. Pull up my notes. All right. I'm going the Bears plus 2.5 over the Vikings. Um, Bears are 5-2 against the spread their last 7. Minnesota 2-4 against the spread their last 6. I really like the way this Bears team is trending. They've won back-to-back games outright. Good energy. I really like what Ben Johnson's doing with this team. I really love how they're establishing this run game and making it such a big part of that offense. DeAndre Swift, he was obviously out for a couple of weeks. And then guys look great, but like the two of them, like Swift has really seemed to find something. Like he got off to a really slow start at the beginning of the season. He really seems to have found something. Mununga's been a great compliment to him. I think it's also helping Caleb Williams a lot. And with this Minnesota defense, Flores likes to blitz a lot, but I think, with this run game, um, it's going to help them in terms of, being able to counteract that blitz and put Williams in some good spots, set up some play action. Um, and I also like just kind of going through the card, looking at the games. Um, you know, on OddsShark, 81% of the action is on the Vikings. So um, I really like the spot for the Bears. I like how they're trending. Minnesota to me, coming off a bad performance last week, ton of penalties, 3 turnovers. This just feels like a good spot. So I'm on the Bears plus 2.5. Like them getting the points.
Yeah, it was kind of. It feels a little trappy, this line. It doesn't really make sense to me that the Bears are 2.5 point underdogs here. I just feel like they've been trending well. I know Minnesota, they've played all right since McCarthy's been back, but it did shock me a little bit to see them, as favorites in this game. So, I didn't. This wasn't a game that was on my radar for the spread at all. But just looking through the card, that was one that jumped out to me as it just seemed a little suspicious. So I think just off of that, I probably would have leaned Minnesota. But yeah, I mean, to everything that you said, the Bears, they are playing good football. Their offense has started to look like it's figuring it out, especially with the run game becoming established. So we'll see.
Yeah, I like the pick. I really just not a big JJ McCarthy guy in a general sense. I think Ben Johnson and his staff will be able to cook up a game plan um, just to stifle him a bit. I don't think it's going to be an easy day for him. Uh, I do think like you said with the run game, it's great, but I do think Caleb is kind of coming into his own a little bit with Ben Johnson, and he seems to be playing better as of late. Um, he seems to be he's still kind of quick to leave the pocket, but he seems to be more decisive when he does leave the pocket, whether it be running the ball or getting the ball down out of his hands downfield. So, I like how the Bears are trending. I think the Vikings is just the lost season for them. Big transition year for them, and I think these teams have different goals. Finishing out this year, I don't think the Vikings are thinking playoff run. I think they're more thinking just we need to see growth out of McCarthy, and I think the Bears are trying to push the gas down a little bit and go. I think they're 6-3 right now,
Yep.
so they're right in the playoff mix. They're playing for you know that division still. I think they're right up there with the Lions, so and Packers because they've dropped 2 in a row. So they're right there, and I think that they're going to be able to win this outright and um, you know, keep rising.
The big one too. They got to win this one if they're going to stay in the mix. The Bears do because I mean they've got some tough games on the slate looking ahead. I mean they're going to have the Steelers next week. They got the Eagles. They got to play the Packers twice.
Hmm.
Uh, the Niners, the Lions. And again, I mean if they're going to be a playoff team, like they got to win some of those games. But I think just to set yourself up for what's going to be a really tough stretch run. Um, you got to go in and win this game, and it's a very winnable game for them. So, um, yeah.
All right, to the
All
prime
right,
time.
to the prime time.
All right,
What's
so
up?
we got Man Campbell, and then I don't know if you guys got the update, but ESPN, Disney, it's all back on YouTube TV. So we do have Monday Night
Yeah.
Football back.
So it was good to wait it out.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure the price of the brick's going to go up.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Do we get a walk-off man?
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
oh, 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 oh. Oh my God. Oh,
All right. So the
okay.
what is it? It's
Cowboys Raiders.
yeah, who's home?
I think Raiders. Raiders plus
Three and
three
a
and a
half
half at
point home
home.
dogs. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Give me the Cowboys. Um, I don't think the Raiders are going to be able to score enough points. Gino's banged up. Don't I think he's going to be playing, but I'm not sure that is totally a good thing for the Raiders. I don't think they're a team that's going to be able to take advantage of the Cowboys shit defense. And yeah, I think Cowboys, roll pretty easily here. Only with 3.5. So
All right. The right one. Yep. Okay. I'm on Vegas here. I mean, to what I was saying about the Bears Vikings game, you want to talk about a line that stinks. It's definitely this one. I mean, I feel like everyone's looking at it and they're saying, what, the Cowboys are going to blow them out. The Raiders are terrible. The Cowboys have CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and then Javonte Williams and Jake Ferguson. It's not even going to be close. But that's exactly why I'm on the Raiders here. The spread makes absolutely no sense. But at the same time, when you dig into it, you're looking at the Cowboys. They just lost in prime time to the Cardinals. I heard you guys talking about the Cardinals as I signed on to the call. That's a terrible team. They just beat them in prime time. Before that, they got blown out. The Raiders here, they just played a really tight game. Against Denver, they lost 10-7 or something like that. I know it was an ugly game, but I mean, that right there, they're playing what I think is a better team than Dallas. And they kept it within the number that they're getting right here. When Brock Bowers plays, they score about 14 more points per game. I think they're going to come out. They got nothing to lose. They can throw the ball. Ginty, it seems like he's starting to get a little more comfortable. I know a lot of people haven't been totally impressed because they were expecting like an Adrian Peterson type rookie season or something, but he's been pretty good against behind what's not a great offensive line. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what I was saying when I was talking about that Pittsburgh game too. I think this Dallas defense is one of those that can make anybody look good. So if we're getting any type of points against this Dallas defense, I'm going to take them. So I'll take the Raiders at home.
I'm going Vegas.
wow,
I'm taking Vegas.
wow.
It's the 3.5 that does it for me. Um, Cowboys are also awful against the run. I mean, I know that defense in general is awful, but they're giving up, it's like 145 yards a game on the ground. Uh, Fifth worst in the NFL. Um, I know Geno can be very undesirable at times, but I think they're going to have to just feed Ashton Jeanty. Um,
What the
I
hell did you just say, Gene T?
how do you say it?
Arizona Gene T? It's Genty.
Genty. Genty. Arizona GT. Um, well, there was another guy a couple years ago. I completely butchered his name.
Khalil Hayber, like he's fucking
Yeah, that's
T-Bob.
right. I love that you remember it.
Well, because you'd say it and it would go on for weeks, and eventually I had to ask, like, is this a bit? Like, are you doing a bit, or do you genuinely think when Justin Herbert is like a star quarterback in this league, you look at Khalil Herbert's name and you pronounce it Bear? Like,
Well, Justin's a very straightforward name, so I figure the pronunciation of the last name is straightforward. When you have a name like Khalil, it's a little more exotic, so I carry that over to the pronunciation of the last name. Um, Cowboys terrible against the run. I think they're going to have to feed Ashton Genty. Also,
and he
I'm a,
was only like, one of the greatest college football seasons of all time. I'm sure
No,
you
stop.
only read his name, never heard it.
he's on the West Coast. I didn't. I didn't follow it. Um, I
Travis Hunter.
all right, I'm on Vegas. That's the pick.
Oh boy.
All right. To recap, this is where we are. All right, international game. We got Bosco with the Dolphins -2.5 over the Commanders. I've got the Bears +2.5 over the Vikings. Kiernan's got the Steelers -5.5 over the Bengals and Unk Bowl 2. Bowen's on the Ravens in a blowout, -7.5 over the Browns. And then we will ride with Ashton Genty and the Vegas Raiders +3.5 over the Cowboys Monday night. That's the pick.
Right.
5-0. We'll be 30-25 after this week.
5-0.
Back in the mix.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
Let's do it. All right.
Thank you, Bosco.
Thank you, Bosco.
You.
We ride.
All right. I'll see you guys.
Later.
Later.